You want to talk about that at all? I kind of, on the last episode, I talked about Landon's
I don't care. I can't.
But I brought in other things with reasons. Have you heard of that Birna thing? It's
what?
It's a. You don't have to register it. You don't have to have concealed carry. We probably all should get one. I'm gonna get one.
Is it a bomb?
No, it's a handgun that shoots plastic like rubber bullets.
Is it considered a?
Don't have to register it.
Yeah, but if you shoot somebody, is it considered like using
no,
lethal force or?
Mm-mm. That's why people are all into it right now and I'm sure California will change something about that.
It's just for self-defense right now.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
But I'm sure because you can buy pepper bomb bullets. So it's actually, when I say bullets, it's actually round. It's like for the pepper ones. The rubber ones are big. They're big too, but they kind of have a hair of a point to it.
You should
accurate up to 60 feet.
You should get one, and we'll do a YouTube video with me shooting you. See how it affects
you. Or you run. I'll give you 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Or we can put on helmets and have a fight. Huh? No kidding.
I would not want to get hit by that thing. I know someone that has one. They've been carrying it, but yeah, you don't have. There's no waiting period. There's no registration, and there's no background checks.
Did you hear what happened to? My dad was telling me Lori's husband.
Yeah,
that West guy. He was in Merced. And Lori was with him and the grandkids, and they went to a 98-cent store. They pulled up. They went inside. He's sitting in the car. A car pulls in front of them. Two guys get out. One goes behind his truck, and they pull out guns. And he had his gun right next to him. He pulls his gun out and just went like this, set up on the dash like this right here, holding it, and just smiled at him. And he
said the other guy was like no, get out of here.
Really?
Yeah.
So they both had guns, though. Like, they blocked his truck in. I'm saying, like, he was parked, and they went behind. No, what they did is he was pulled in, and they came behind him.
This is local.
Merced. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. The truck pulled up.
So they blocked him in.
They blocked him in, and then they got out. Both had guns.
Both of them went on each side.
Yeah.
And basically flashed their guns in his window.
And he just, like, had his gun like this right here and just smiled at him.
Which he's
sheriff,
right?
He's a sheriff.
He's a sheriff.
Oh, that's right. Picked the wrong guy. Dude.
Crazy.
It's getting bad. It's getting worse and worse.
Well, there's no repercussions for what people do.
I know. Well, me and Jake were talking yesterday. You can literally walk in Lowe's or Home Depot or a lot of stores. You can grab a handful of tools in a box, and you can walk out.
Talon and I, we were going to...
Yeah.
We had... What, 2 experiences? 3? You and I had that one.
We had together, and
Home
then
Depot, right?
And
then you had another one after that.
The next day, I had another one.
What happened?
But I was at Sportsman's Warehouse, and I was just walking over in the camping section, and this guy comes walking in, and he's looking around. He's got a big old black trench coat on, and I was like, okay, he's up to something. Because just prior, the day before,
yeah, we were at Home Depot.
We're at Home Depot, and a guy ran out with
four things of bolt cutters. One of the employees grabbed 2 of them out of his hand, and he took off with the other 2.
Really?
Yeah. So this guy's over in the camping section. He's looking at the bear spray, and there was notebooks, and he was just sitting there, and I was like, okay, I'm going to keep an eye on him. Well, I walk behind the row, and like he's looking back and forth, and I come back around. As soon as I come back around, he takes 3 cans of bear spray and shoves it in his coat. I'm like, what are you doing? He just looked at me. I'm like, you're pathetic, dude. And he just shook his head and just turned around and walked right out. The lady's like,
really?
Did he take something? I go, yeah, he took 3 cans of bear spray. She's like, oh, yeah, they come in here all the time for it.
Why?
She didn't say why. She just said it's like a popular thing people are stealing. I don't know if it's protection for them when they're out there or what it is, but yeah.
You told him that, and he just looked at you.
He just looked dead at me in the eyes and just shook his head. And
giving you, like, what kind of look was he giving you?
He just gave me a dirty look, and I'm just like, dude, I go, put it up. And he just shook his head and went like this right here. Just walked out.
Wow.
But, I mean, if he didn't have the trench coat on, I probably would have approached him. But not knowing what he had in
right,
it.
like a gun or something.
A gun or a knife, I was just like, all right, whatever.
It ain't worth it.
No.
And to be honest with you, the sad part, you would get in trouble.
Exactly.
Not him. I was in Lowe's a few months back. I was standing in the line on the far, like if you're in the store on the far left side, mainly where the lumber and all that stuff side comes in.
Yeah, that's the worst place. That's where they go out.
And yeah, exactly.
It's a big opening.
It's a big opening. Yeah,
you don't have to wait for the
doors.
doors.
No slider doors. Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter anyways, from what I was told. So there's 2 lanes right there, right? I was in the left one, like the second guy back, and I'm watching this guy. He has a sweater on. I don't even know why he was hiding it because it didn't matter, but his sweater was literally a skinny guy, and it was bulged out to here, and he was holding it all in. And he's walking fast from where the power tool's over around that corner. And interesting text there. And he comes around the corner, and I go, hey, that guy's stealing stuff right there. Like, I yelled it out, and he like looked at me, took off running. Nobody at the registers that worked there looked up. Nobody. Like, I didn't even say nothing. I said it loud. And I was like irritated. I wanted to tackle that guy, dude. And I was like, man, they don't even care. So why should I, right? So I get up there to the lady. I go, can I ask you something? Like, why did you guys not try to do something or say something? She said, oh, we can't. She said last week. So this was at our Lowe's. She said last week, one of the ladies there, someone was stealing something, and they were running by like what you said happened. And the lady went and reached out that worked there to grab the stuff, not him, but the stuff he had and pull it out of his arm. She got fired. Fired.
What the world?
Dude.
Just wish they had like some kind of like thing that just would like shoot up and block him in, and then two whirly blades just chop him.
Dude. And I just saw, and she told me that. I was like, she lost her job because she tried to pull the items out of his hand. She's like,
think
yes,
about it. There's
liability.
But the thing is, for them, right? There's no repercussions for what they do. So who cares? They don't care. What's the cop gonna do? I don't even think
they can't do nothing, dude.
It's $2,000.
There's nothing they can do.
limit.
No, it's $1,000. I think. I thought, right? But they can't do nothing.
Yeah. Stupid.
So the company can't do nothing. It's liability. If that
they
person
count
got
off
hurt,
as a loss, and then it comes back to consumers because they just jack the prices up.
So
right?
yeah, exactly. So in your head, you're thinking, really, do they want him to do that? You know, is there something weird going on there? But I don't know. So that leads kind of into the story I was wanting you guys to talk about. You can go into all the details you want or not, whatever, up to you guys. But and then reactions of the cops and stuff. But like something happened to Talon last week. What day was that? Tuesday or Wednesday?
I don't know specific. It had to be Monday, wasn't it? Monday?
No,
Monday?
it was Thursday.
The day before Landon's?
No, because he's
But
been in jail for a while.
No, that was the day of church, wasn't it?
I thought it was Monday.
I got a picture right here. Let me see.
I thought it was Monday.
We're all off. It wasn't softball day. I bet you it was Wednesday.
I bet you it was Monday.
Let's say Wednesday.
Had to be Monday.
It was Tuesday.
So it was softball.
We're all off.
It was.
It was
Tuesday.
softball
It was
because you guys.
softball.
That's why I said I was all
I
crazy.
talked to you
Yeah,
about
that's why
it.
he was hitting bombs that day. Finally,
Was he?
he was hitting good shots. Finally, he was letting
Okay,
a little
so-
rage out.
So tell us details, time
Okay.
of day, and give us a little background of.
All right. So I was talking to the mom, and she said that they moved. The guy had to be like 18 or 20 when they moved there, I think.
He was in his 20s.
He's in his 20s. He's 34 now. But when they first moved in there, it was him, and then there was another guy. I think it was her cousin. And nothing really happened. It was quiet. You guys were little kids.
Yeah.
And I would say probably the last two.
How long have they been there then, basically?
They've been there 10 plus years, I would think. Don't you think?
Definitely 10.
I'd
Yeah,
say about 10 years.
About 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So probably the first like major incident that I remember that kind of sticks out in my head. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I hear somebody banging on our door, and they're like, "Let me in, let me in, let me in." And I think I looked outside, and it was him. But what had happened is he had went over to Richie's house when Richie lived across the street from us, my brother-in-law, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. He's banging on their house, let him in, and they called the cops, and they came over there. So that was like the first, probably, major incident. You know, it was like, what's going on? But progressively over the last 2 years, I'd say it's gotten crazily worse. Like, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, he's out in the backyard screaming that the FBI's watching him. He said that he's been, being molested, and he's screaming, "Stop, stop!" And all this stuff in the backyard, and you can see through the fence, right? There's nobody back there but him.
Mm-hmm.
And hear stuff breaking in the garage, and then the next day you'll see like furniture out on this little trailer they have broken. And then it was probably about 3 or 4 months ago. He was out in the road, sitting in his chair, a rolling chair, saying he was the king or something like that. And
I don't remember that.
well, anyways, the next neighbor on the other side of us was driving down the road, and he threw something at him. Well, the dad
While they were driving,
and the dad went over there and was like in his face, and he said, what did he say? I forget what his thing was, but basically, Dad told me he was going to beat the snot out of him, and he would annihilate him. And the cop showed up there, and then this guy, he's supposed to be schizophrenic, which I think to some degree he is, but I've never seen somebody that can switch it on and switch it off that fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he'll be acting like he's all stupid, saying stupid stuff, and then all of a sudden he's like perfectly fine, like, hey, how you doing? And acts totally normal. So I don't think it's just schizophrenic. I mean, he's dealing with, deeper, darker things that are demonic.
Yeah.
Because the things that comes out of his mouth, no normal person would say, even if they were mad. Yeah. I mean, like vulgar, horrible, horrible things. And so, this happened as well. Tamara had left and went somewhere. Talon was home with Trent. And as soon as she left, like, he comes and knocks on our door. Talon's there by herself, right? And Talon's armed. She has a gun. Since she was a little kid, she's, had a gun. And I've always told my kids that's like, if they're outside, you can't do a single thing. But I go, at any cost, if they come into our house, shoot to kill. Because of what happened with, our friends John and Tiffany Carpenter with that guy killing their 2 kids. And so the other day, Talon was in the front yard. We had bought a plant from Costco's, and I kept telling her, you need to plant that thing, you need to plant that thing. And she had done some yard work out there. And so finally, we decided where she's going to put it. She's out there planting it. I'm in the house, in the garage, because I work from home. And I had went into the house.
What time was this?
It was about 1:30. 1:25, 1:30. And I was in the house. I was talking to Tamara, and Taylor comes running in the house, and you can tell she's freaked out of her mind. She comes in the house, and she's like, Sam said, how'd she say it? She said
everything. But,
yeah, but she was, and Taylor is not like this at all, right?
She doesn't get scared easy.
She's very calm. Seems like she comes in the house and she said, Sam called me a blanking HOWRE. Said he was going to RAP me and kill me and my family and all of us because we're Pentecostal. And
he's approaching her as he says this.
He's coming towards her. She said, he was coming after me.
Did you tell the part where she was playing it with her headphones in though? So she
had her headphones in, and she said she kind of heard something behind her, and she pulled her earphones out and turned around, and he's coming towards her, pointing at her and saying this stuff. So she runs out and is like, Dad. So I had stepped away from work, and I was sitting on the couch for a second. I jump up, I run over there, and I run into his yard, right by his garage, and he starts coming towards me. So I shoved him as hard as I could.
Okay?
So he wasn't on our property at that time. He was on his property. I just shove him in the chest, shove him back, and he goes and sits down in this little chair he has over in his front yard under this thing. And I'm in his face. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, you're going to kill me and my family? I go, I'll grind you into this asphalt right here, and you will not get up. And he's like, you're assaulting me. I go, dude, I'm assaulting you, and you're threatening to kill me? I go, what would you do if I came over here and said I was going to kill you and your family? And he's like, you guys are judging me. You're judging me. I'm like, I'm not judging you. He's like, I can hear you. And Tamara had come outside. She's videoing the whole time. And he's like, you're judging me. I can hear you in your room, in your silence. And he goes, I hear your thoughts. And he goes, you're judging me. And I'm like, dude, I'm not judging. I don't even talk to you. I go, you're the one out here that's in the yard screaming that you're going to kill people and murder them and molest people and doing all this crazy stuff 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I go, you're the one that's been threatening me. And I go, you're threatening to kill me and my family. I go, you come to my house? I go, you will leave in a body bag. And he goes, I expect nothing less of you. I'm like, well, you better stay away from. I go, you're not doing anything. And
as soon as Dad left outside, though, Talon called the cops.
So Talon had called the cops, and when I walked over, he's like, I go, my daughter said you're going to do this. And he goes, she's a blank. And I rear back, and I was so close to just, I mean, literally, I've never felt so much rage, but such a calm rage, like just like so laser focused that I'll do whatever it takes to neutralize this threat. And
Mom.
Mom's like, don't hit him, don't touch him. And I think were you over there by the end?
Not at that moment.
Okay,
I came a little bit later.
Okay, and so I'm like, I'm ready to, I'm really ready to do whatever it takes to take this guy out. I mean, I
because in that moment you didn't know what happened, and you just know he said he's going to kill us.
Yeah, you know, and I'm just
right
in this psychotic, like not psychotic. I'm in a inner rage,
protective,
and so he starts. Then Talon came over there or something.
Yeah, and then you guys just started talking back and forth.
Yeah, back and forth, and he's saying all stupid stuff like, people are captive in this house, and he goes, there's magnets under this house, and people are captive, and this house rotates. I go, dude, this thing's on a foundation. This house don't rotate. I go, that's all in your brain. He goes, you don't hear me in the backyard getting molested? He uses another word. And I'm like, dude, I go, that's the demons in your head. I go, there's nobody back there but you. I go, I see you through the fence, and you're the only one back there screaming and hollering. I'm sick and tired of this. I go, you've had this whole neighborhood captive for 2-3 years. Nobody can come outside because you're out here screaming like an idiot.
I mean, he's done it a bunch of times when I've been over there.
But the thing was, he never threatened us directly, right?
Right.
And
he just did his own.
So anyways, the cops come, and he's like, I gotta go talk to my boys or whatever. Like, he goes over there, and like he's telling them one thing, and, and the cop comes. There's a lady and another guy. They come up to me, and I'm telling them like, hey, this guy's threatening to kill me and me and my family, and you know. And Talon said I was up in his face, but I guess in my adrenaline, I didn't know I was that close to him. Man.
How close was it?
So this guy, the cop approached him respectfully.
Oh, you were up in the cop.
Dad had such a rage, but one of the first things Sam said, though, his name's Sam, he's like, it's her word against mine. Who's gonna believe it?
Yes.
Well, our neighbor across the street, he had his security door open, and he heard the whole incident. He heard him say he was going to kill our family. So he actually went and grabbed a bat, and then he heard Talon say, Dad. And he's like, okay, Travis is coming. So he witnessed the whole thing, and he stepped outside, and he's like, the officer said, is there any witness? He's like, yeah. He goes, I heard the whole thing. So they're like, okay.
Is that the guy across the street?
Guy across the street.
Yeah. Really
so
cool, dude.
Cop asks that. Well, Dad comes up to the cop, and the cop starts asking him questions. Of course, they have to be professional in the moment. And Dad,
I was trying to be professional.
Dad wasn't very professional. He's like this close to the cop's face, like asking him what they're going to do about it, because we've been dealing with this for years, you know.
Yeah, and the cops have been there multiple times. The cop goes, we were here the day before, and I didn't know what happened, but I guess he was throwing stuff at the mom's car. And and the daughter, when I came up there, I was talking to him. The daughter, who's 10 years younger than him, she's like, he's threatening to kill me with a knife.
Because she asked what was going on, and Dad's like, he said he's going to kill us, and he's like, oh, he's threatening to kill me.
Yeah.
In his own house?
His sister in his own house.
Sister,
yes. But it's just, it's crazy what society has come to, right? They arrested him and took him away.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
But for what?
12
said,
hours? No, he's not come back yet.
Really?
So I don't know if it's accumulation of things that have happened that we don't know about that's built up to this point. But I really feel sorry for the guy, right?
Yeah.
Because
say what you said to him though about praying for him and stuff like that.
Well, here's
I
the
mean,
thing.
it wasn't all.
I go, Sam, I'm not judging you. I go, I've prayed for you. I've had my church pray for you, because you know what? Through all of this, there's a soul, right? There's something still with all this. There's something of value to that individual, and God loves him just like He loves me. And yes, I'm going to do whatever it takes to protect my family. And if it comes to that point, I would protect him at use any means, at anything to protect him. But I still care about him.
You don't want to see him go to hell.
I don't. You know what I'm saying? Because I know there's a soul that lives forever. right? When this body decays, there's a soul that lives forever, and that soul is going to spend eternity somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's lost without God, then he's going to suffer eternity in hell. And I told him that. I go, I care about your soul. I go, and until you surrender your life to Jesus Christ, I go, you're never going to have peace. You're going to live in darkness. He goes, I'm in the light. I go, yeah, you're in the light outside, but there's darkness inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
And Tamara even said, she goes, the problem is what's inside of you hates what's inside of us.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts going off something about Pentecostals and Freemasons and all this stuff. And I've never told him I'm Pentecostal or anything like that, right? But that's probably what kept me from attacking him, because I probably wouldn't have stopped, and I was on his property. But I'm like, and you think about that, right? You're like, oh, I'd protect my family or that. But that'd be the hardest thing for me to ever do, is to actually end somebody's life.
Right.
Right? Because it's for eternity.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was I guess an internal conflict within me, like, because at some point you don't care about repercussions, right? I'm gonna do whatever it takes. If he would have laid a hand on my daughter, I would have probably killed him.
You and Talon both, I'm sure.
I wouldn't have stopped. You know what I'm saying? But that soul's gonna spend eternity somewhere, and that's the thing that I struggled with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And later on, when I was talking to his mom, I was in tears, right? Because I'm like, I know what she's dealing with.
Mm-hmm. Think about that, dude.
She loved.
It was her little baby at one point,
yeah.
right?
You know what I'm saying? And no matter what, a mother still has a love for their child, and
How does she act about all this? Troubled, or just is she?
It's really hard to read because, I go, how do you even sleep at night? She goes, I don't sleep at night, right? And she said, like, she's trying to get him help and, try to get the state to be like a conservatorship over him and, get him into something where they can get him off drugs and help him or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, like, they're not doing anything. But I'm like, what's going to happen when... And she goes, he hears voices in his head, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these voices tell him to say these things and do these things. I'm like, what's going to happen when those voices tell him to kill you or kill somebody in this neighborhood, and he listens to those voices or the demonic spirits that are inside of him,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying, push him or drive him to do something that maybe in a normal state he wouldn't otherwise do.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, he's going to go past that point, right? Because he's given himself over to that. He's doing drugs. He's doing these things. He's going to give himself over to that. And that's going to be the repercussions of it. And I told the cop, I go, what are you guys going to do? You're going to wait till you actually harm somebody before you do something? I go, it's not going to come to that. I go, I'll be calling you guys up, and you better bring a body bag if he comes to my house. Because I am going to do something to protect my family. Mm-hmm. No matter what.
What were they saying to you? Or what were they saying to you?
I know their situation, right?
No, I do, but what were they saying back to you?
They're like, yeah, you got to protect yourself. You got to do whatever it takes to protect yourself, But here's the thing I'm struggling with afterwards, right? He starts coming into my yard. Whether he's armed or unarmed, he's a big dude, right?
Yeah, I know, he's big.
And whether he's armed or not, if he's approaching me like in an aggressive manner, I'm going to consider that he's attempting to carry out whatever he said he was going to do. What am I going to take it as anything else?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the questions they asked Taylor. Like, did he carry any weapons?
Yeah, and she goes, he's
6'3", 4, 5, 300 pounds, 280.
He's at least 6'2", 6'1", 6 foot to 6'2", and about 275.
Yeah,
big man. And she goes,
he don't need a weapon.
That's what she said. She goes, his body's a weapon. She goes, I'm 5'1", 100-something pounds, and she goes, I never felt so vulnerable in my whole life. What's she gonna do against somebody like that? There's no chance, right? Somebody that big grabs a hold of her, and so it's just a horrible situation. But now I'm like, what's gonna happen when he comes back and wants retaliation for, for this? It's been so peaceful the last week without him there, right? But I'm like, okay, at some point, is he going to come back? Is the mom going to let him come back? She's afraid to put him out on the street because she's like, he's going to get killed out on the street.
I wonder what the charge. I'm surprised he's still hung up in there.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, the mom said that
he did make verbal death threats.
Yeah, death threats.
So that has to be
and at first,
something.
At first, the cop came up and he's like, okay, who was the minor involved in the incident? And Tim was like, oh, I'm not a minor. Because they were going to press the minor charges against him. So they had to drop those, but the cop did ask how many individuals were involved when he threatened to kill, and he said it to you, right?
Yeah, he said it to
So
me.
said it to her, said it to Talon. So therefore, they doubled the citations on them for whatever they may be, but they didn't tell us exactly what they were.
Yeah, I don't know. So we're gonna have a restraining order, file restraining order. We're gonna have everybody in our neighborhood sign a paper, basically saying like the things that have caused. Because I mean, the other day he was walking across the street with a cane.
Why do they have to sign it for you to get a restraining order?
No, but it just adds credibility.
Validity.
Well, it because nobody said anything really, right? They've different people have called the cops. They don't do anything. They show up. I've seen them pull up and sit in the driveway and sit there and then drive away and not even go up there or do anything,
Really?
right? And there's people in our neighborhood with little kids, and they can't even come outside, right? Because this guy's out here screaming. I mean, the worst things you've ever heard in your life coming out of his mouth. And the other day, because I work in my garage, and I have the garage half open, and I hear him out there yelling all the time. And so I heard him. He walks across the street, he has a cane, and he's like yelling at the people across their house, and they're Hispanic people, and he's saying all this like, racial stuff and screaming at their house, and it's just like at some point he's gonna do something, right?
Yeah.
And somebody's gonna do something back, or he's gonna do something and actually harm somebody, and it's just
It feels like it's just a matter of time.
it is like a ticking. I feel like I'm living by a ticking time
And the
bomb.
fact that you said that he's progressively gotten worse.
Well, one time he asked me, he came over to my house, he's like, "Hey, I want to buy a gun off you." I'm like, I'm not selling you a gun. He goes, "You won't sell me a gun?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "Well, I think somebody's trying to rob me. I need a gun, And it's like, yeah, right, I got guns there, but there was something else.
Yeah.
Hunting and protection, right? And so, yeah, I mean, you can go into a bunch of different subjects, right? How important it is to teach your kids and people handgun safety, gun safety, how to use it properly, have it accessible. And then just, situational awareness.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. I was thinking about that. Like, headphones definitely take away your situational awareness, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's lucky that Talon, think about it, she would have had noise canceling in.
Yeah.
You can't hear nothing unless only way she would have known is if she felt the ground. Like,
Yeah.
you'd have to feel that vibration in the ground. But, like, man, I wouldn't even want her. I mean, I'm sure you don't want her in the front yard anymore, honestly. And that's
No.
kind of stupid.
And here's the thing, like, you could tell it, like, really traumatized her, right? I mean, how often do you get somebody that's not in the right mind a lot of times, and it's coming for you and telling you they're going to kill you and your
and
family.
they're big and can overtake you.
They're going to kill you and your family. How often does that happen to somebody, right? And I think it in a sense, it was maybe a blessing. It was a wake-up call to her, right? But at other times, it was traumatizing. So, and then...
Has it been bothering her since that? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, she says stuff, like, I would do this now and do that now, but, a woman only has so much that they can do against a man. I mean, we're just made differently, right? And, yeah, there's women that would probably, maybe be able to beat me up, but I'm not afraid of any woman in the world,
Yeah. I'm just like, man, after that happened, and then right after that, what happened to Landon, garage doors open, cars unlocked. It's like,
yeah, in the middle of the day, and we don't live in a bad neighborhood.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm like, man, should you not have your garage open anymore? I mean, you work in there, so that's a little different.
Yeah.
But what if he did?
But now I'm more cautious than ever, right?
That's what I'm saying. What if he comes around the corner with the gun, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, what if he had been armed? I'm saying he could have done
You didn't
something
have
to
a chance.
Landon or...
It doesn't matter how...
or anybody.
How you're... Even you being a man, you can't... What are you supposed to... Anybody.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do? He comes around... That's what I'm saying. It's like, man, dude... I don't know. Just got to pray that he gets moved out of that area or something.
Yeah. Well,
but even then, that guy that came in...
Yeah, that's
Landon,
what I'm saying.
Who's that guy?
Yeah.
And I thought, I was like, is that the same guy?
And here's the thing, like, how long did it take the cops to show up? 10, 15 minutes?
For ours, no, it was 8 minutes.
No, for Landon.
Oh, Landon?
It seemed like it was longer, right? I mean, you have to protect yourself because you could be You'll be dead by the time they get there, right? It's gonna be too late,
dude. Well, the thing is, they don't have enough help.
They don't have enough resources, right?
And you don't even want to know sometimes how many like I've heard at times for the whole county of Merced, which is huge. I don't know how many square miles that is. There's been times that I know of specifically, there'd be like 4 sheriffs.
Yeah, and then if something more,
dude, we're talking about Delhi, Los Banos, Merced, Outwater, Wynn. Like, how in the world does 4 guys do that?
Yeah, then where do you fall on the scale of priority, right? If
exactly.
something else is going on over here.
But even if you do fall on the high scale of priority and they're all the way on the other side of Los Banos, that's how long you're going to wait.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, right?
Yeah. It took them forever to get out to John Tiffany's, if I remember right. It took a long time for him to get out there.
Oh, yeah.
Everything was done.
In the house.
Well, yeah, he was still, I guess he was still up in the house, but I mean, he was getting,
yeah.
So, honestly, I don't even want to say that because I'm not, fear is not of God, but
I dealt with it. I know what it is, right? After that happened with John and Tiffany.
That's what I'm saying.
There'll be times I'd be at
this
work.
This guy reminds me of similar.
And that's the thing. Like, I didn't realize how much what had happened to them had affected me over the course of time. How long has that been? 20-something years?
Mm-hmm.
But there was times I remember when I was working as a dental hygienist, I'd be there at work, and all of a sudden this spirit of fear would come over me, like that something was happening to my family at home, and the kids were a lot younger then, and I would just have this horrible fear, and I would just pray, like, God, you know what I'm saying? Like, give me peace, but protect them as well, right? I mean, every day I pray for protection over my family, but that, and then now this right here, just like it enhanced it again, right? It brings back all these memories that you had of other things that happened, that happened in that scenario, and it's like, I told the cop that, I go, that had happened. And I go, what's the difference between this right here? It's just a matter of time before this guy does something. And I go, I'm not going to let that happen here. And I just won't.
Mm-hmm. Can't. Yeah. That's what I was talking about in the last episode, of just being protected. Like, the way our state is and the government in this state is, it's all about the thief.
Well, here's what's happened, right? It was before people would protect themselves, right? You had the right to protect yourself. You had the right to protect your property. And then it's like, it became questionable, like, what's going on, right?
Yeah.
And then they start protecting the criminals, and this isn't as bad, right? Lesser sentences. We can't do this, it's mental health.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see... 20 years ago, you didn't see all these people on the streets with mental health.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? Why is there mental health issues now that wasn't there 20 years ago? What changed?
They figured it out that that's how they can get away with this stuff.
What changed, right? And now all these people are living out on the streets. They let all these people out, and they're protected. They have protection.
Mm-hmm.
But the people that are law-abiding citizens, pay their taxes, work hard, try to make a better life and community and all this stuff, are being victimized and punished because of this other group of people that don't want to conform within the laws of society, and it's creating chaos, right? Mm-hmm. So at some point, this group of people are going to retaliate against this group of people if something happens, because we're tired of being victimized. Right? Mm-hmm. We're trying to do what's right. These people, they don't care.
They don't give a care.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I've literally seen people homeless people, they just leave their trash on wherever they get done eating it, right? Somebody buys them food, kind enough to buy them something to eat. They just leave it right there. There's a trash can 5 feet away. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've seen it. And they just leave it right there on the ground. Mm-hmm. They don't care. And I don't think that it's total mental health that they can.
No.
That they can't pick up trash and throw in the trash can.
It's not.
It's just, and that's what society's become, because, the Bible says that the nation that forgets God will be cast into hell. Mm-hmm. And, they don't want God in schools. They don't want to teach about, they don't want to teach biblical truths. Everything is relevant, You don't know this person's situation, all this stuff, but you leave God out of the equation of your life, and you're going to have chaos in some manner, shape, or form. Eventually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And everyone says that they ship, like, as far as the homeless people go, it's like everybody said, oh, they ship them there. I'm like, man, I don't think it's just here. It's not just here.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere, dude. You
Drive down 99. You'll see them every town that you go through. You'll see them on the side of the road.
It don't matter what's.
If you told people 20 years ago that it would be like that, they'd think you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But little by little, it gets more and more right, and it just becomes the norm, acceptable.
Well, I was watching a deal with Sheriff Warnke where he was basically saying we would have to hire multiple people, full-timers, to be able to clean up and dump all the stuff from the homeless people and clean up those encampments. He goes, that's how bad it is. He goes, boy, I can't make my deputies go out and do that. That's not even it's not
their job description.
It's not even supposed to be a job.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be a job. That shouldn't even exist.
When I was a kid, they had road camps, right, for people that weren't like hardcore criminals. There was a road camp over there, and it was kind of like there was barbed wire around it. And I remember as a little kid driving by this thing, right? They had these like long rows of like these white houses. It's where the mosquito abatement is now.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and it was like I don't even know what it was. It had cyclone all around the thing, right, and chain link fences. But then you'd see those guys out on the road picking up trash and like a community service type of thing as repercussions for whatever they had done.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you can't do that to people anymore, right? That's cruel and unusual.
Yeah, cruel and unusual punishment.
So it's just.
Yeah, I don't know. And what do you do? Just let it keep getting worse and worse? Like, how do you get rid of that? At what point? Like, everything has a boiling point, right? Like, you would think. But I just look at it. I mean, we get frustrated, but half the time I don't even like talking about it because I feel like I don't like wasting time talking about something that's not going to change.
Yeah.
You know? But it's like, there's got to be a boiling point at some point.
And it's not like with the homeless, it's not just, they're homeless. These people are making a choice to be in that situation.
Exactly.
It's not.
I know some of them are legitimately.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You feel for those people, but you know the ones that are making.
Dude, young people.
Young.
20, 21 years old.
Yeah.
Like you said, by them not throwing their trash away, just because you're homeless, because there's been homeless people for years, right? People in hard times. And I have sympathized with those people. But they don't even care about society. Like, they're not even trying to come out of the hole they're in.
No, they're not trying to conform to norms,
and
right?
people may disagree with that, listening to this, I don't know, but it's like when you're 5 foot away from a trash, you're not a decent human being to do that.
Yeah, you're not so mentally incapable. Well, they're not mentally incapable, right?
No.
A lot of them are perfectly fine.
They choose that. They say they do.
They've chosen that, right? And you can't pick up your trash and throw it in a trash can.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's something that a little 2 and 3 year old you can teach how to do.
That someone bought you, because you're supposedly on hard times,
Yeah. And
again, we're not trying to be heartless. We know there's people
either.
that are in bad situations. I've heard some crazy stories from some homeless people, but like this is like become a fad. Like people are just joining in on this. They don't want to. It's like, I don't know. I've heard some people make statements like, "Oh, the cost of living, you can't do it, can't survive," which is. I mean, you have to make a lot of money to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you have to, for Talon to get married or me to stay providing for my family, I have to make the minimum of what I'm making. How else am I going to do unless I work multiple jobs, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to.
Yeah. A 2-income family, you know what I'm saying? And
that's the norm now.
Yeah.
And really, if you want to have anything and have that extra to do stuff, you have to do that. That's why everybody does it.
Yeah.
It's funny because whenever that started about the feminism and all that stuff, and before women were going to the workforce and stuff, and obviously World War II and stuff, that was to help. It wasn't trying to get jobs, but it was like that was a different reason than what it is now. It's just trying to survive.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of women technically they don't want to have to do that, but they almost feel like they have to.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just interesting. Maybe I sound wrong for sense, but it's like I wish it would crash, honestly, like the way it is right now with everything. But I guess I don't think it would hurt any of us as far as that. It's just it needs to be reset, man. It's stupid. But I was telling someone the other day, and maybe I should have ended this one and started a different topic, but I was telling someone the other day, someone was like, oh, yeah, if it crashes and it resets everything. But I said, well, it's not going to reset minimum wage. They jacked minimum wage in California so high now They're not. That's not going to reset. They're not going to be like, oh, we were at $20 an hour, which I don't know if anybody listening to this knows that, or maybe it's a hair more than that. It's like 20, I think, 20 or 21. They're not going to be like, a crash happens. They're not going to move it back down to 15. That's not going to happen.
The other
So
day
it still messes
I
everything.
went to Sonic, right, and I bought Trent a medium ocean water with tax, $4.19.
What'd that used to be?
And I was just
Couple
thinking,
bucks?
I'm like, am I spending this much money for
Flavored water?
this flavored water that's this tall?
Yeah.
It's crazy if you think about it.
It
Really,
is.
that you're spending that much. I mean, a gallon of milk was like used to be like what, $2.39, something like that a few years ago.
And that's the thing. It was a few years ago. It wasn't. We're not talking
like,
about 25 years ago.
like 5 years ago, right?
No, it's talking right before COVID. I mean, it wasn't.
At
probably
McDonald's,
$2.39,
you
but-
could get a 99-cent soda, right? Any size. And
you know
then
what's
they went
funny, Talon? I was watching one of my old hunts, probably 2018 or 19, and I videoed me ordering McDonald's. Do you know what the number one cost me with the large drink,
It was like
hash brown, and $5.19?
$5.19.
It's like five. I was like,
what's the egg McMuffin now?
Now, for the meal?
$3.50, $3.60.
Well,
the
the
milk-
more than that.
the meal was like $10.50 or $11 now.
Yeah.
That was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over double.
Well, I was working in West Sac with Big Barney on those apartments, and like 2 weeks before they jacked up the minimum wage, I walked in. I was like, okay, I can get 2 McMuffins for. It was like $3. Yeah. They jacked it up, went in back in there, and I looked at the prices, and I thought they were wrong. I was like, looked at it for one McMuffin. It was, I don't know what they are now, like $3.50, $3.60 for one.
A McMuffin.
Yeah,
That's
2 weeks
rotted.
earlier, I got one for. I got
Oh,
two
really?
for
In
$3.
2 weeks, it changed that
Yeah.
much.
It was like I walked in and thought the world changed because the prices were so high.
Were
I
you
was
in a
just like-
coma this whole time?
I was just like, what happened? I was like, I can't. This is ridiculous.
How much money did McDonald's make by going from 99 cents
Right.
to whatever it is now? What is it now? $1.49?
Think about
50
that.
cents? You know?
Yeah, we're talking about dramatic
Yeah.
increases, not like you said. How many millions will they make on a 5-cent raise on an item?
Yeah.
Millions, right?
Yeah.
Think about what they're doing now, and it's like, is that really what costs you more, that much more to make this, or are you just trying to use that as an excuse?
Yeah,
to
I don't know.
Just
But
hose
let's
us?
say if you take your family of 4 to Applebee's, what's that going to run you?
It's got to be 100.
$60, $80 or
No,
more?
Travis, 60? No way,
I don't know.
dude.
It's
We go
not
to Mexican
cheap.
food. There's 4 of us.
Okay.
Sarah don't hardly order nothing. The girls get beans and rice, bean and cheese burritos. I mean, they don't order nothing. And drinks. We all get drinks, which they hose you on drinks.
Yeah, what's that, $4 or $5 a piece?
Dude, we are minimum with the tip. By the time we walk out of there, we're almost $80.
Yeah.
And we're not even going extravagant, dude.
Yeah.
Because Sarah doesn't either. Like, I'm the only one that gets an actual meal that costs probably $20.
Yeah.
It's like, I go, there goes a Benji right there.
Exactly.
Like, imagine. Well, I mean, like Jake and them. Why I wouldn't go out to eat either if I had 6 people. He's sitting way deep into the hundreds for his family to go eat. You too. You got 5.
Yeah, 5.
I mean, I don't know, but I'm just saying. Like, not saying we need to eat. I'd rather eat at home anyways.
No,
but
I would too, but it's crazy. Like, if you think about it, right? Like, I'm thinking, like, how much money could I save if I didn't go to fast food
Mhm.
or even out to eat? It's not cheap. How much is Dutch Bros?
I don't know. It's ridiculous.
$6 $6 for this like little
That's
thing.
different.
What's that?
It's not.
It's a treat.
You know what? They raised theirs too. Weren't they 5 something for a medium? It was like
I
$5.50.
don't remember.
I feel like my prices have went up on my Dutch Bros.
I didn't start hitting Dutch Bros till like last year, really.
Okay. Anyways, well, I said it in my last podcast. I'll say it again. The Bible says the world's waxing worse and worse, and whether you believe the Bible or not, you can see it.
You can see it.
There ain't
Yeah,
no hiding it.
you'd have your head on a rock if you didn't see that.
Yeah.
You know, it's getting worse. And who has a solution for it to get better?
Well, and I wonder too, because I know there's been times throughout the beginning of time,
Yeah.
that people have thought this is the worst it's ever been. Something's going to
Yeah.
happen. Something's going to give, and then it gets kind of reset, right? So I'm like, because we believe Lord is coming back, no doubt about it. And there's so many biblical prophecies that are fulfilled when you look at the Word of God from front to back. So stuff is being fulfilled, and for sure his coming is soon. But I've thought that in my short period of 40 years of life, I've thought a few times when stuff was getting really bad, I'm like, this is a sign. He's like, and then like something like kind of resets, and then it kind of levels out and whatever. But I'm like, is that going to happen again, or is it going to keep getting worse? You know, that's what I think. But I don't know. Guess we won't know. We can't tell the future. But
Nope.
We just put it in
Yep.
his hands.
No, I'm not afraid about tomorrow.
No,
You know,
no, not at all.
I don't live in fear.
I was just wondering, like, okay, is this it? You know, is this it? But anyways, well, thanks for sharing that story. I think that's I kind of wanted to share that, or you to share it for the fact of like keep on guard, because I think sometimes we don't think things can happen to us. And I know he was your neighbor, but like you said, he's progressively got a lot worse in the last couple of years.
Yes, unfortunately.
And then the thing that happened in the land, and it's like, I know those were too close together, so March starts, you almost get paranoid that it's going to just keep happening because something happens so close so quick. But I do think all of us, including myself, and I get on the girls all the time, and I haven't recently, but like, you guys don't be locking the doors lightly. Don't just nonchalantly, when you leave the house, forget to lock the door. And I'm not so much worried about them coming and stealing stuff out of my house. I don't want them to come home without me and someone be in my house.
Yes.
So it's like, you can't take that nonchalantly. Like Sarah and them, they grew up, never locked their door, dude. With just 3 women, or 4 women.
Yeah, well,
Wait, Sarah grew up.
I mean, our friends lived up in Mariposa, right?
Yeah.
They didn't have a garage door for forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just had stuff, motorcycles, whatever, sitting in the garage. But you can't do that anymore.
No. Yeah. I mean, I know you work in the garage and the door's open, but it's like, I don't know. I'm sure you have your backup plans. But...
Old Betsy. No,
what do you call it?
Tickling her.
She wanna?
She wanna kill it.
Oh, that's the best ever. All right, guys. Well, we'll end this episode. Just keep alert, keep vigilant. Situational awareness, not a bad thing to have and be reminded of sometimes. So we'll see you guys in the next one.